What is up, YouTube? Zuki M1 here, and I am back with a brand new YouTube video today. We are going to be looking at some of the updates that are coming to Legends of Runeterra, and then I have to say, spoiler warning, in case you want to get further into the video, but this is probably some of the most exciting news we've had in the community in quite some time. I am super excited to be one of the people who's going to be bringing that information to you guys in case you haven't heard. So there is actually so many updates that I had to probably make at least like 2, potentially 3 2 or 3 updates of videos. But essentially what we got here is a lot of information to go through. So let's go ahead and just get straight into it. So first, Riot has told us their balancing policy from moving forward, which is going to be every 3 months we're going to receive a new update to the game to keep things fresh. So they're going to be nerfing certain strategies, buffing other strategies, and reworking other champions to make them feel just slightly better in the meta. And you know, a lot of us have been saying that for quite some time, that a lot of characters just do not feel that good into a lot of the game, right? It took quite a bit of time before Echo was seen as an actual playable character in the game in terms of like doing something outside of some niche combos that people were doing, like myself with the voice of the Risen, and some zillion Echo combos here and there. But most of the time the win rates were abysmal. It was like less than 40% sometimes. Really bad, right? But now with some of support from another champion, Jinx, they finally started seeing some play, just a slight bit of play, right? It wasn't one of the best decks to beat, but it was definitely a deck that people started playing. And with the more regular updates, we could start seeing more characters maybe in the meta. Like, I would love to see Malphite for once actually be considered a threat and see people actually scared to go into that matchup. Like, what would you do to make Malphite into that type of problematic character that people are like, man, I really don't want to see a Malphite on ladder, right? Or, making more late game champions be more effective in the game. I personally feel that we definitely need to move towards, stop catering towards more aggro strategies and allow decks to be able to get their curves a lot sooner, or just help them stable out the game state. So, fast decks like Katarina Gwen or Elite Demacia, or like other strategies that like kind of kill you by turn 5, aren't so strong in the meta. You know what I mean? Like, it's very hard to try to find a reason for you not to run these types of aggressive strategies, because they overwhelm people. Even people who are running the same deck sometimes can't keep up with that type of stuff, just because you slam units on the board. And sometimes, like for instance, the Elite deck, you can get units by turn 3 that are 4/4. Like, what do you do when someone drops a 4/4 unit on turn 2? Right? You gonna trade every single unit you have into it, or are you going to be eating 4 damage? That's unfortunately the situation that you have to choose. And depending on the value of that unit, sometimes you just gotta eat that damage. So if I hit you with more than 1 4/4 unit, so I got 3 4/4 units on my side of the board, and I'm swinging on turn 2, it's like, I can't do that then. So hopefully they do buff more strategies to help them be able to achieve their goal a little bit easier, or just help them be able to stabilize the game so they can actually compete against these more aggressive strategies that have been lately plaguing Legends of Runeterra. Because don't get me wrong, I'm an aggressive playstyle. I like rush down, but I don't want everybody to play that type of playstyle because it's boring. There's no variation in playstyle because everybody is forced to play what's strong in the game, and what's strong in the game are always decks that are just going to completely maul your opponent. Even decks like Seraphine Ezreal seems fair in comparison because they want to stall to the point where they can get to Ezreal level up and then Seraphine level up, and they're not guaranteed to pop off at the same time. Now, there was one point where that deck was just completely unfair, right? Because Seraphine sees 6 new cards and then boom, she flips. But now it's 9, and that 9 actually do make a big difference. And you know, it's not a nightmare to go against on ladder anymore. So that was a great balance change. They didn't kill the character completely, but they made it so the character just isn't super super unbearing. I can't do anything against the character type of thing. So regular updates are one of the things that we do have to look forward to. New balance changes to champions is another thing that we have to look forward to. And we also have the we have new tournaments that they are going to be hosting. So Riot themselves are going to be hosting weekly tournaments for us to compete in. Those tournaments are going to be how they determine the points that you receive to be able to enter the seasonal tournaments. Well, not necessarily seasonal tournaments, because seasonal tournaments are over with. They're done. The last seasonal tournament was the one that just recently passed. So, you know, if you were a very, very strong player, but you just didn't have time to grind the ladder, or you just hate trying to prepare for so many different types of decks instead of just only preparing for the decks that you know for a fact you have a really good matchup into and things of that nature, because you're more used to a closed format type of style of dueling. Well, guess what? That is what we are going to be moving towards now. So now if you want to be known as a competitive card game player and don't want to have to climb the ladders to get to that point to be able to compete against the top competition, here's your chance. So anybody from any rank, someone from Iron, can slip their way into these tournaments now, you know, and get a chance of being able to compete for fame and more importantly that moolah, you know. So I'm very definitely excited for that, because like I just recently got to Masters 2 days ago. I made a post about it on my YouTube channel. So it's really cool to actually, you know, not have to do the dash and always get to Masters immediately, then try to get to like the top 500 spots and keep that spot for like however long it takes before they close out the bracket, and then be like, all right, cool, these are the people that's going to compete for the seasonal, you know. And then out of those 500 people, you got to compete against those people just to get within the top slots to be able to play for a chance to be like on stream in the top 16, you know what I mean? And then so on and so forth. It was very stressful. So I think a lot of people are going to definitely prefer this new style of tournament hosting from Legends of Runeterra. It's definitely really something cool to look forward to. And then in April, we are going to get rotations. So I know a lot of you guys have already heard, and if you haven't, Legends of Runeterra is moving towards a rotation for the cards. Now, at first, I wasn't for rotations, because I was like, well, you know, Legends of Runeterra is a little different than other types of card games in the sense that people might start playing this game just so they can play their favorite champions, because this is based off the game League of Legends, right? So if me, a League player, came over here and I wanted to play Azir, and then Azir is rotated out, what purpose do I have to want to play your game anymore? But I've come to realize that, you know, the game is just is a healthier environment when you don't have strategies that are been around for forever. Ezreal, right? And just never seem to get hit to the point where that character is just irrelevant. I've never played a format of Legends of Runeterra where he has not been relevant. It's just the guy is unstoppable. Who would have thought having elusive that generates a free spot remover card every time you punch somebody's nexus would be so strong? And then got one of the strongest level 2s in the entire game. Just play cards, I burn you. Oh man, it's like literally playing Jinx on Path of Champions. It's crazy. It's crazy. But, you know, that's a card that could potentially get rotated out now, you know. And now as a as a new player, you don't have to come into really crazy combos that are going to make you say, well, what's the point of me playing this game? I didn't even get a chance to do anything. Like, right? Like if you get rushed down by turn 4 because you don't understand, you know, which attacks to block, which attacks to don't block, what how to mitigate damage, how to, you know, control the mid game so that way you can get to your late game, or how to stabilize a game after coming back from your opponent having a huge swing in their favor. Like, those little things are not always easily understood, especially for newer players, right? Not knowing what cards are valuable and things of that nature. So if me, a newer player, comes into the game and I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, and then I just get blasted, that'd deter me away from the game. You know, it'd make me not want to touch your game because the people that I'm supposed to be playing against on my level are doing crazy shit that I cannot compete against, right? So I'm perfectly fine at this point with the rotation. At first I was like, I don't know, you know, you're gonna get a lot of backlash, you're gonna get a lot of people to you know, to probably say no. But I think the most important, I think what really put the icing on the cake and what really made us be okay with it is how strong champions have been within the last few sets. Characters like Aatrox, Kale, Bard, Alawi, just to name a few, you know, that have been completely either super strong or super weak in the meta. And you know, they are hard to compete against, right? So you have to play these characters, and now your favorite decks like Echo or Garen or Callista, if fucking LOR even remember Callista, she hasn't received any type of changes in forever. Or Vladimir, like, oh my god, who the fuck remember Vlad? So, you know, like, there's so many characters that could benefit from rotations, because you don't have to buff or nerf them, because now their apex predators are gone, giving that character a chance to be able to, you know, do some stuff and be relevant or whatever. But that's just scratching the surface. I don't want this video to be extremely too long. It felt like I was ranty a little bit, but there's going to be a part 2 and a part 3, and it's basically just going to go more in depth about the tournaments and the balance changes, because this one was just pretty much talking about all the changes that they have coming down the pipeline. And just in case you forgot, every 3 months we're going to be doing new balance changes. Then there's going to be the start of the grassroots tournaments that Legends of Runeterra are going to be hosting themselves. You collect those points to compete at the highest level, and then regular updates with balance changes and new cards and things of that nature. And we're going to we're gonna have rotation added into the game. So those 4 things are like the big things that I wanted to cover today in this video. But you know, eventually I do want to talk about more of some of the stuff that they got coming down the pipeline, because if you guys haven't seen, their Twitter has been going crazy these last few days, just posting all types of stuff. If you guys want to check it out on my Twitter, because I've been basically retweeting everything, you can follow me at Zuki. At Herbert Menace. So yeah, my at is my real name. So it's Herbert Menace. You can see it right there at the bottom of the screen. If you can, I'll just put you'll see the link over there in the corner of the screen. Yeah, you can also follow some of my other social medias. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a great morning, great evening, great afternoon, and great night. But this has been Zuki and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.